So I read that prophecy about him not being no bones being broken, and they would look upon the one that they had pierced, and I said, "Oh, I see. He's fulfilling prophecy even in his death." Huh? Who could possibly do that? This is not an act. This is not a stunt, a publicity stunt. Who could possibly perform miracles even after their death? That must be noteworthy. That must be the Son of God. I'm not looking at any reference here for this neck muscle. All right, here we go. So I went a little long answering that question. But next question is, what have you been learning about God lately? Oh my. Hold me back. So here's what happens when you're listening to 3 podcasts at the same time. So I've been listening to the Bible Project, which I've always been listening to, well, ever since 2019. Not always, like, since I've known that they exist, since 2019. And currently, what they're talking about on the Bible Project podcast is about dragons. There be dragons here. So dragons are all over the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And dragons, there's a friend of mine, acquaintance of mine on the internet, who is a comics artist as well, and he's writing and drawing a book about dragons, and he was interested in all this dragon lore that he found in the Bible. So the idea of dragons in the Bible, you might remember the most memorable dragons in the Bible are the one in Revelation, the one that goes after the woman. Also, the snake in the garden. The Hebrew word for snake is the word that they use, same word that they use for dragon instead of snake. There's dragons and or snakes in. So anytime that you see the word snake, you're supposed to think of Adam and Eve. You're supposed to think of Genesis. So in Exodus is when Moses is in Egypt saying, "Let my people go," and he does the staff trick, the trick with that staff that becomes a snake. And then pardon me for my memory, but I have to make sure that I'm saying, please look up the things that I'm saying to you. Please make sure that you take this with a grain of salt, because I don't have notes in front of me. But so Moses throws down his staff and it becomes a snake. pause, thinking. I think it becomes I think it becomes a dragon. I don't think it becomes a snake. That in Hebrew, that is, it becomes a dragon. The word tanin. There's the word tanin and the word nehosh, and one means snake and one means dragon. And I apologize for not remembering which one means which. But one staff becomes a snake, and another staff from the magicians in Hebrew becomes a snake. Becomes a not a snake, but a dragon. Moses' snake is bigger than the others, so I'm assuming that that one is the one that becomes a dragon and eats up the staves of the magicians. So there's snake, and the idea of the dragon is sort of kind of like mythology. So it's symbolic in order to teach you about, things will happen in this world. Things will happen that you don't want to happen in this world, and but fear not, because God has overcome the world. Jesus has overcome the world. So that scripture basically sums up the idea of dragons in. Tell you what, I'm not going to do this way. I'm going to use a brush, and I'm going to do exactly what my sketch tells me to do. I'm going to make this smaller. Ooh, 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 ooh. Make it even smaller. Number 7, please. That's better. Let's look up I have overcome the world. I have overcome the world. Bible Gateway, John 16:33. That's what it is. In the NIV, it says, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Trouble's gonna come. Trouble come my way. Trouble come my way. Gonna cry sometimes. Trouble in my way. Gonna fight sometimes. I lay awake at night, but that's alright. Don't you know that my Jesus, he will fix it? Don't you know that Jesus, he will fix it? Got to know that Jesus, he will fix it in a while, in a while. I have overcome the world. So that's the whole point of all the dragons ever mentioned.